Like, everybody does not have the right to have a gun.
You know what a Trojan horse is, right? We've got a lot of them in the U.S. today. Let's talk about one of them. Doggone public enemy number one, enemy of liberty, Tim the Commie Kennedy. Hello, you're watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors, and I am your host, Jacob Peterson. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this channel, please do the whole thumbs up and subscribe and bell thing, and consider checking the description box below to see how you can support the channel. Not only do I have affiliate links and a Patreon, but primarily this channel is made possible by sales through my website, Exodus Knife and Tool, where I sell premium American-made knives, and Beach and Tactical, where I sell premium custom made-to-order rifle slings made and designed by myself as well. For the month of May 2023, the channel sponsor is Commie Cleanser Soap. This is the only soap that I have used for months now. No body wash, no shampoo, none of that fake crap. Just Commie Cleanser Soap. And if more people were buying from small mom and pop's businesses that bring to light the issues of the giant corporations and government figureheads that we deal with every day today, the world would be a better place. Get yourself some Commie Cleanser Soap. Let's get you right back to the content. So let's back this up a little bit. You know, I'm a combat veteran myself. I took an oath to defend and uphold the U.S. Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, right? And so I have always felt that I have to hold myself to a higher standard, when doing something about domestic enemies of the Constitution, specifically the Bill of Rights, my guys. So I have been asked 10,000 times to do a video on Tim Kennedy. Things have been building up over time. I think it's Johnny Appalachia even just did 2 videos on Tim Kennedy. Almost the reason I didn't do this was because Tim Kennedy is some low-hanging fruit, okay? However, and I had my questions about Johnny Appalachia as well. He was on board with Black Rifle Coffee for a really long time until that really became less popular recently. Haven't looked into the guy. You don't have to look very far, however, with Tim Kennedy. That's what we're going to talk about today. It really started off with his interview with Lance Armstrong.
Raw milk. Do you know that?
You know, I didn't know that, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know, but I didn't know that.
I don't like that.
Okay.
You know, I don't like anybody telling me what I'm supposed to do or not supposed to do. If my freedom doesn't affect somebody else, just let me have my freedom.
Right.
And this is the tricky part about guns, where guns, while I think it's a right, a gun can affect somebody else's freedom, clearly, because it's killing people. So that does not mean that everybody gets to have access. Our NRA does not like this part. And most Second Amendment gun-toting, open-carry people would be like, oh my God, that's horrible, Tim, you shut your face. Like, everybody does not have the right to have a gun.
You see, the Second Amendment is an absolute. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The purpose of this was to maintain a free state. We have to be able to self-organize and self-regulate at any time to come together to oppose a tyrannical government, be it local or federal. That is why the Second Amendment exists. So, as a veteran, it is your sworn oath to defend this amendment. So you really don't get to go and say, I think the number one thing that America needs is gun control. That's pretty obvious, right? I'm not gonna stick on this for too long because it's old news, and let me tell you, if you've seen that people aren't too fond of Tim Kennedy in the past, but you're not sure why or what happened, it's because you don't care enough to look into it. which is mostly important with the businesses that he associates himself with, but we'll get back to that in a second. More recently, Tim Kennedy has done it again.
So this is for all my brothers and sisters that have served in the military. And if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. Just turn off your phone. If you haven't served, then don't even pay attention to this, because it doesn't matter and it doesn't apply to you.
Let's start off here. There are many subjects, I will say, that a civilian who does not have experience with should not extrapolate on when speaking of the military. So, you know, don't, without combat experience, go out and tell a veteran how he should or shouldn't handle something, what he should or should not have done when you have no experience. You shouldn't do that. I'm not going to say you can't do that. But when it comes to politics or morality or really anything, really, the soldier and your oath, you are a servant of the people. There is really nothing that you can look at and say, if you are a civilian, you cannot talk about this. That should be self-evident, but of course it just gets worse.
If you have, and you are thinking about talking negatively about a former service member or a service member, shut the up.
Well, first off, Timmy, if you are a service member who has sworn to uphold and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and one of your combat veteran brothers goes against that Constitution, becomes themselves the enemy of that Constitution, it is your responsibility to call them out. You first are the one who is supposed to start talking, because you're the one who's supposed to be defending it.
Nobody wants to hear you complain about somebody else that has served their country. All you can do is praise and be positive about everyone that has done something for their country.
Let's be very clear here. There's a difference between serving your country and serving your government. That difference is in the oath that you took upon entry. There is honor in being a U.S. citizen because of the oath to uphold and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. If you do not serve and care about that oath, you're a mercenary. You can be an honorable mercenary. That does exist. That's fine. However, your honor would not be derived from your job title, which is mercenary. It would be derived from your actions. But as a military service member, your honor comes from your oath and upholding your oath. This is very important, because if you become the enemy of your own oath, that makes you dishonorable. If you are a U.S. soldier and you are standing in direct opposition, especially as a politician, okay, and you are standing in direct opposition to the Bill of Rights, you are lower than the enemy. You are lower than a communist, because not only do you share the viewpoints of our enemies, but you swore an oath to defend the people against those enemies, and you are breaking it yourself, you human piece of trash.
Which is less than 1% of the rest of this 360 million people that live in this country, more than all of them have ever done.
It's less than 1%, guys. It's so special. It's less than 1 in 100 people serve their country. It's so special. And less than 1% of our military's infantry, guys. If you are infantry, it's so special. You're the tip of the spear, bros. Top of the line, bros. It's so special. 1 in 100, like 1 in 100, the absolute stupidity that it requires to even say something like this. Like, I think that Tim Kennedy is stupid. However, I don't actually think Tim Kennedy is this stupid. I think he's been written a little message that he's practiced giving to you, and he expects you to be this stupid.
So, like, if you're a Navy SEAL talking about another Navy SEAL, stop it.
All right, so if you're a Navy SEAL talking crap about another Navy SEAL, what this is in context to is Dan the Commie Crenshaw, who again is part of the World Economic Forum, right, in our political system, who stands directly against your God-given human right to firearms ownership, who wants to create gun laws that are illegal in a land where shall not be infringed is the law, okay, he put another SEAL in prison. That other SEAL spoke out against Dan Crenshaw, and David Goggins made a video in support of the SEAL who was imprisoned. So Tim the Commie Kennedy is doing something really interesting here to blow his government and his slave masters here. He is saying that you can't say anything bad about Dan Crenshaw because of his military affiliation, but Dan Crenshaw can lie about another veteran and put him in prison, but another veteran can't call Dan Crenshaw out for lying about another veteran and putting him in prison because he's a veteran. Wait, what?
Love your brothers and sisters. God bless America. Stay safe, stay free, and man, just support each other.
Rising tides raise all boats. So I own a knife brand, as you know at this point if you watch the intro, and I regularly, through my knife brand, promote other knife brands because rising tides raise all ships. But when the rising tide that you're supporting is communism, is government control, is the infringement of human rights, that is a rising tide against the people. Yeah, all your forms of government worship might rise, but it's going to be on the back of the slaves that you're grinding into the dirt, which is what you're supporting. The irony here is your message is going out to the slaves that are about to be ground into the dirt, who worship you because of your military service and the government who has given you the position that you have, to almost seeming like there's a bit of a plan here. Almost seeming like, God bless America. Stay safe and stay free. That's interesting, Timmy. That's really weird. Because you're actively working for the enslavement of the American people and for an antichrist agenda. Let's talk about the people he's affiliated with, and this is actually pretty entertaining. Of course, you have 511 as a brand that makes backpacks and different gear and pants and shoes and all kinds of other stuff. A brand that I have purchased from in the past, actually repeatedly. In fact, I wore some 511 gear in Afghanistan myself. 511 has always known about the controversy dealing with Tim Kennedy and continues to promote Tim Kennedy, really because it's the bottom dollar, right? It makes them money. So let's just add support small local businesses of people who actually care. This is the Hidden Woodsman. If you know my channel, I love them. Not affiliated with them, not sponsored by them, not paid by them, nothing, just really good gear. But that's not the really interesting thing here. 511 is not what's really interesting. That's actually probably to be expected given their position and their direct involvement with the U.S. government in contracting and creating gear. Even though they're not supposed to be able to supply the U.S. government, as I understand it, with gear, being that it's all imported crap from other countries, and government contracts, as I understand it, are supposed to be fulfilled by U.S. sourced stuff. That's besides the point. Let's talk about the USCCA. This has been hilarious because they throw Tim Kennedy's face on every single ad that they run on Instagram. This is amazing. They're supposed to be an organization that fights for protecting gun owners in legal battles and fights for the Second Amendment, and yet they plaster Timmy's face all over everything. And the comment section in every single paid advertisement is people ragging on them for Tim Kennedy. This is not a secret. They read these comments. They know that Tim Kennedy's a commie. They knew that before they even signed the bill, right? But they're taking your membership dollars to pay Tim Kennedy to continue doing what Tim Kennedy does, and they're going to do it and say that they're doing it to protect your Second Amendment rights and to protect you against unjust legislation in the event of a Second Amendment event. It's a little bit ironic. However, it does get better than that.
Can do to make this gun go from lethal and deadly and a felony to it's okay and we'll be fine. There we go. Now the pistol brace is off and gone, and technically, apparently the ATF says you should take this pistol brace and render it inoperative. I don't know if we need a torch or a hacksaw or something like that and render it inoperative. I'm going to say store it really far away from your gun because maybe the rules are going to change again, but don't put the pistol brace on your gun.
As you can see in the comments section of their own video, their own subscriber base, consumer base, customer base understands the irony of what's going on here. These supposedly Second Amendment guys who are using their members' money to pay their members' enemy to represent them is saying, you know what, guys, just submit to the law. It's gonna work itself out. You know, you don't really need it. Just take it off. Just take it off. You know, maybe don't destroy it. Maybe be partially, you know, non-compliant. Maybe just store it a little bit further away. What the crap? Guys, I have more stuff to say here. There's so much more stuff that Tim Kennedy has done. I could make a 30, 45 minute, I could probably make a 2-hour video. I could spend hours and hours and hours copying videos that Tim Kennedy has done, ads. A lot of them have been lost to time. I could find them, get them back. I could supply you with so much Tim Kennedy cringe. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that PSYOPs is marketing, and every single pro-Second Amendment person that you see has been propped up into their position. None of them have earned it. Probably Tim Kennedy probably earned it more than any of the rest of them with his little MMA career. However, the rest of them, okay, they served, and now they get millions of views and you hear about them. Do you think that's how this works? Do you think that you become a U.S. combat vet, open a business, and you're automatically invited to Fox and Friends? Onto the mainstream media, which you tell everyone you no longer trust, but you still get all of your information from, and you still find all of your idols from. The Trojan horses, guys. PSYOPs is marketing. Every single big public figure that you support is your enemy. They're all part of this system. That's how all of this works. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I hope that you have a blessed day. For all of you, there's like, it seems like, you know, it's almost like 50-50. Like, half the people realize how cringe Tim Kennedy is, how he's the enemy. The other half is like, what's the problem with Tim Kennedy? I haven't heard anything. It's at this point difficult for me to believe that you haven't heard anything about Tim Kennedy. I do believe you. It does happen, but it's getting harder and harder for me to believe. But what I do know is that after this video, you will have friends who say, what's the problem with Tim Kennedy? Just send them this video. Just send it out to your people or whatever, people need to realize how this works. Tim Kennedy, oh, special forces, tough guy, MMA, this, that, and the other, posted cringe video giving absolutely contradictory and incorrect advice on tourniquet use, the absolute most basic thing that he should know exceptionally well, and deleted the video in the comments right after. These people, when they screw up too bad, they do damage control. It can be harder for you to find it afterwards. Share this crap when it pops up, guys. Help enlighten your friends who are still asleep. Again, I'll talk to you in the comments section below. Check out the description box, and I hope that you have a blessed day.